It's about 6 AM and we're walking about 50 minutes or so to a viewing point across the lake to see Mount Fuji. I'm not sure if we're going to get a glow of the sun, but I can see Fuji-san's head. He's just waking up. He's poking his head out, going, morning. That's how I feel right now. Conveniently located.
Yes!
Perfect.
Coffee.
Well, Fuji-san's still having a little bit of a snooze. Hey, how's it going everyone? Welcome to part 4 of this multi-part visual journey throughout Japan in the winter. We've been on this rail route for just over 2 weeks now, of a 3-week journey, and we are at Mount Fuji. We're at Lake Yamanaka. It's very early in the morning. We've been here since about 6:50, something like that. Japan is beautiful. I don't know if I've said that enough throughout this series, but it's beautiful. There's so much amazing nature and landscapes, and then the whole urban metropolis in places, although this series is focused more on the sort of rural areas. Yeah, I'm just falling in love with the country all over again. We've found this spot. It's quite close to the water, and the water is so clear, by the way. It is pristine, and it's very still, so we've got an amazing reflection about to happen, I think. So we found this spot that we can get some shots just close to the water and have just water and mountain, or we can take a step back and we can get the boats in it as well and have a little bit of a foreground interest. I can tell my face still hasn't woken up yet, by the way. So as always, let me run you through the equipment we're shooting with. Ellie's currently filming on the PANASONIC LUMIX, the GH5S. I've got the GH5 out as well, and Fuji's coming out. So Fujifilm, meet Fuji. Yeah, we've got some pretty thick clouds over here, heading towards Mount Fuji. He's still hiding! Sometimes you win, sometimes you'll walk for an hour and a bit in the cold and realise you'll have to do it again another day. Ooh, you can hear thunder and volcanic boom. I think that's what that is. The thing with photography is that you can always feel like you're failing a lot sometimes, but in actual fact, quite often people don't get their shots, but it's all about persistence and perseverance. I've seen many photographers who have been trying to capture the perfect Fuji shot for years and years, and you know, it's literally taken them like 10 years or so of living in the area to get good shots of it. He's a notorious mountain. I was beginning to wonder if it was an urban legend, because I still hadn't seen him close up until this trip. And now I'm kind of wondering, is he there? But no, in all seriousness, I think throughout the day the temperature's going to warm up, which should burn off some of these clouds, and then we can go to a different viewing deck and see the sunset. The sun should set sort of behind to the north of it, because we're sort of facing west a little bit.
I thought we were going to the pagoda one.
Yeah, that's the same view, isn't it? I think that's a west facing view.
Oh, okay.
I think so anyway. Yeah, ooh. Nature's happening. But it's nice and peaceful anyway. As much as I'm still half asleep, it's it's refreshing. It's good. I almost feel like I could have a dip in that lake.
Very cold.
We are absolutely hanging this afternoon. We've taken a bus and a train to Mount Fuji station, and then we're going to be, we've now taken another train, then we're going to be taking some steps up to a pagoda to catch the sunset. We've got about an hour to kill or so, and I'm exhausted. Having the best time, but my god am I exhausted. Ellie, show them your best time smile. This is probably one of the most famous postcard images of Japan. I'm generally quite surprised how few people there are up here. And the sun is going to be setting in about, what are we looking at? 15 minutes time or so. So we've got some harsh shadows coming across. I'm loving the way it's looking. I was a little bit hesitant with the haze and how harsh the lighting was going to be, but I think it's coming out pretty great. So I'm experimenting with that and trying out some other compositions different to the standard sort of postcard view. But it's definitely worth coming up here. This is, yeah, it's a number of steps, I think 400 or 500 steps or so, of course, with all the trains and getting to the area, but definitely worth it. It's huge. It is a massive, massive mountain that, yeah, as you said, just looks like a painting. It's just so significant. I'm so happy to have finally seen Fuji-san. This is such an icon for Japan. It's like a cartoon of a mountain. It's almost perfectly symmetrical. It is snow-capped, triangular on its own. It is mountain in all sense of the word, mountain. Yeah, it's great. It is pretty hazy currently, but to be honest, looking through the viewfinder, I'm loving the way it looks, and I can't wait to edit these photos. Good job I got this 18 to 55 with me, it's pretty wide. So we've made it to our penultimate stop. This is Matsumoto, and this is kind of like a halfway point from Mount Fuji, where we were this morning, onto Nagano and Shiga Kogen, where we're going to be skiing. Now the reason we're in Matsumoto is because of this castle. So I've seen this castle in a few images, and it kind of worked logistically in between where we were going, and I thought, you know what, let's make a stop here. Now of course there is more to see in this city, but unfortunately we got limited time, and logistically it's just, you know, we can't fit everything in, and also we can't afford to do everything, so that's obviously a big thing. But this castle is one of the most, I guess, prestigious premier castles in all of Japan. It's been restored a few times, but it dates back a few hundred years. I believe maybe even as much as 500 and something years. And I must admit it's a little bit smaller than I expected, but it does look pretty spectacular. And we've got the sun just setting behind, so it's just glowing. And I'm gonna get some photos of it now. It's also unique in its appearance that it's a black castle, so it's kind of known as the Crows. I think it's the Crow's Castle, or the Crow's Nest. There are some other castles around the country that are white and gold and silver, but this is kind of one of the only ones to be black, which I think is quite cool. Everything is fashionable in black. We're leaving Matsumoto today and heading to our final destination on this rail route. That is Nagano, followed by Shiga Kogen. So that is where we're going to go skiing. And kind of sad to be coming to an end, but at the same time I am exhausted. By the way, if you've enjoyed this series so far and you want to share it with other people, that is very much appreciated. As I said, this is completely independently planned, and any support that you can give on kind of sharing this around is very much appreciated. This is the final part. Thank you for making the whole journey across with us. This is probably the part I've been most excited for, because we're gonna go skiing. So we are in Shiga Kogen, and we've just arrived. The route up here technically was by bus, but we did take the train to Nagano. And I don't know how high we've come up, but it felt pretty high. And it looks spectacular. So the reason that we've chosen Shiga Kogen is for a number of reasons. First and foremost, it is one of the most picturesque areas to go skiing. Now, of course, I want to go skiing and taking photos along the way. But secondly, it is also one of the most connected ski field sort of resort area. I don't know what the true term is for that. There are multiple routes, multiple hotels. I think I read something like there's about 30 or so different resorts all interconnected under the one ski pass. Which of course is great, because us being beginners, we can hopefully have a good access to all sorts of different ski fields of all varieties. I'm glad to be back in the snow, but maybe some of you can relate to this, and maybe some of you can relate to Ellie. The feeling of the crunch under my boots, because it's compacted, is going right through my bones. It's the same as like biting a blanket. Or not, you know, when you're a baby you kind of did that and you had this weird sort of like chill as it slides. Or a spoon, the back of a spoon in a bag of flour. It's got that same sort of feeling. Some people don't feel anything from it. I'm one of those people who...
Are you cringing?
I struggle with it. Every footstep I'm feeling it, so it might take a little bit of time for me to get used to it, but I'm hoping when I've got skis on, we'll just glide over it and it's fine. But I think it's because it's compacted. Because I
think it's quite satisfying, like hearing the crunch.
it's sliding. It's a weird. Yeah. Anyway, I didn't feel this when we were up in Sapporo, so I think it's because it is so compacted. So with this being the first time I've ever been skiing on snow, I actually learnt to ski when I was about 10 years old on a dry ski slope. I've heard that should be a good advantage for me to learn again, but that was a good 17 years ago, so I'm treating myself as completely new to skiing, and especially on snow. So I kind of have like a few sort of objectives, and by the end of our time skiing, what I'd like to be able to do is to ski to a particular viewpoint or location and be able to take photos and film along the way. So that's kind of one of my objectives, and of course I would like to film other skiers, snowboarders, and maybe find some people who are most likely going to be much better at it than we are. I think we should be able to get something nice and crispy. I can't get over how crisp the air is and how pristine it is. Yeah. As another note, by the way, Shiga Kogen. Oh my god! Shiga Kogen! As I was saying, as another note, by the way, Shiga Kogen is very popular among Japanese sort of internal travellers and people who want to get away from the city to come skiing, but it is not that well known or not that well positioned for inbound travellers from international destinations. Kind of one of the other reasons why I chose this as a destination, and the people that we're going to be connecting with to learn skiing, they were very excited about that because not a lot of people come here for that. So in comparison to other destinations, and there are multiple across Japan that you can go skiing in, I think this is kind of one of the little hidden gems of that. So yeah. Anyway, I'm excited to get on the slopes. Let's roll on to that. So I'm taking advice from my friend Jono, who I met at an interview I did last year. He said when you do stuff in the snow, everything takes 5 times longer at least. Definitely feeling that already. So we're about to start skiing, and we've actually partnered up with the Shiga International Ski School. So across the whole trip, they were literally the only people that responded back when mentioning that we were coming and stuff. So I'm very grateful for Robel and his team. They're going to go teach us how to ski, and I'm very much looking forward to it. It's been snowing quite heavily this morning. I've never seen snow this heavy before, and yeah, it's powdery, very powdery. Yep. Okay. Here we go. And we sat down. Woohoo! This is my first time on a proper chairlift in the snow with skis on. It's magical. Everything about this is magical. So this concludes our whole journey across Japan over the last 21 days. As I've mentioned throughout this, if you've enjoyed this, please do share it with other people. I've put a lot of time and effort into planning this, and I hope that a lot of people can see this. I'm really hoping this is some of our best work that we've made, and I definitely look forward to making more projects like this. With the skiing aspect, one of my goals at the start of this was to be able to ski to an area with my camera, take photos, take video and stuff. Now of course I'm not the best skier, but I feel this is definitely starting a journey on going into future areas where I can go and ski and kind of make films. It's kind of one of my goals of mine over the next couple of years. So hopefully that will be happening and you'll be seeing more ski and snowboard things in the future. I'd love to go to some terrain parks and catch some air. But yeah, this is it. I'm gonna miss the snow. It snowed extremely heavily last night. You can see how much has come down. And we're gonna head back to Tokyo via our last Shinkansen of this trip. All right, thanks for watching everyone, and I'll see you in the next big project. See ya, bye bye.